Today I'm going to talk about things I usually don't talk about. Usually I do Thomas things, but today I'm going to be ranking all Sonic 2 zones. The reason I'm doing Sonic 2 is that it's the only Sonic game I've played through. Actually, I've played it 4 times. 2 times with Super Sonic, 2 times without. Now let's set up some rules. 1. I am not counting special stages. 2. No prototype stages like Hidden Palace Zone. And 3. I am only going off the Genesis version and other direct ports like the Steam version. And yes, I did download it before it was moved to Sonic Origins. With all of that clarified, let's start the ranking. In my opinion, this is the worst Sonic Zone of all time. We might as well start with the only good thing about this zone. That one good thing is that I think the music is great. Just listen for a little bit more. But there's still something wrong with the music too. Metropolis Zone's music is very repetitive. In that example, you could probably hear dun 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 like 1,000 times. Now I want to get to the horrible things about this stage, so let's get there. Most of the gimmicks in the stage are very unfun. For example, the gears just take so long, especially when you have those little star things shooting at you. All 3 of the enemies here are very annoying. First, the Shellcracker has a very unfair hitbox. Second, the Astron is very annoying, especially when you're going slow, because it almost always hits you. Third, I feel like Slicers always come out of nowhere and then hit you with their boomerang arms. Just because of those few things make this the worst zone in all Sonic games. Desert Zone is the final zone in Sonic 2. It is the boss zone, but that doesn't save it from being a bad zone. First of all, you come into this level with 0 rings. 1 hit and you are dead. None of the bosses are particularly hard or bad, but just everything else. The music is probably the worst in the whole game. Don't believe me? Just listen. Although it might not sound that bad, compare it to the other really good music, and it is horrible. Plus, it sounds very disorganized. And well, that's actually really all the Death Egg. Just a few things that can go wrong in a zone make it horrible, is what we learned so far. This is almost the same case as Metropolis Zone. The only thing that separates it is that there's not really that much annoying enemies. The thing that is close to it is that it has pretty unfun gimmicks. Not only are they unfun, but they are also pretty hard. There are a few good things, like this is a very creative idea. And also, the music is great. Just listen again. The reason that was longer than the others is that the music is getting better and better, so I show it for longer and longer. But in conclusion, the bad gimmicks make this at this place. And that's it. There's not much to Wing Fortress. Now that was basically the bad tier, so let's move on to the okay tier. Many people hate this level, but I just see it as okay. Although it is auto-scroll, which is horrible, it's not like it has an unfun gimmick. The enemies are perfectly fine, and it's pretty fun. The concept is also a great idea. Who at Sega decided to come up with a flying level when you're on a plane, defying physics by not falling off with probably the wind speed and all the enemies that would probably throw you off? Plus, the music is so graceful. And again, the worst part is it's auto-scroll and in the air, so you can't even do much other than just stand on a plane. This puts Sky Chase at number 8. Aquatic Ruin Zone takes the top of the OK tier. This is actually just okay. It is very cool as it's themed as a Greek ruin. One thing dragging this back is it's a water level. Although you aren't in the water much, the times you are is pretty annoying. The soundtrack of this zone is so good. Just listen. And that's really all to Aquatic Ruin Zone. That isn't a typo. That is what I meant. The reason being is I forgot to put this at number 9. So actually, everything else is kind of moved a position forward. This is a mistake on my part for being dumb. Well, let's get to why this is bad. I think it is very easy to get lost in Oil Ocean. And oil on the ground is not helping it at all. A lot of the gimmicks are fun and usually kill you. Usually it's the burners that kill me. Oil Ocean takes a lot of patience to complete, which is not something you want in a game where you're supposed to go fast. Getting into good stuff, I love the slides. They are very fun and add some magic to Oil Ocean. The music also really fits the level. Now it's time to get to the good tier. Emerald Hill is the starting level of the game. That doesn't stop this level from being great. First of all, it is very good. I mean, they can't do anything stupid because, well, it's a beginning level. You have got to make it so they can learn the game. There are no unfun gimmicks. They only really introduced fun ones. This level is very enjoyable. And not to say, it has almost one of the best soundtracks in the game. It is so energetic and can cheer you up. There's not really much to Emerald Hill, but it is a great level. Hilltop Zone is very fun and has many fun gimmicks. My favorite is probably where you have to get up seesaws. Using the little guy is so fun and enjoyable. There's not really a bad gimmick here. I also love the lava chase. It adds a lot of action to what would be a plain level. The tile set isn't really that different from Emerald Hill. It's just blue instead of brown. The soundtrack isn't as good as Emerald Hill, but still very good. That ends the good/great tier. Now we're moving on to the amazing tier. I love Casino Night Zone. It may seem strange, but I love bouncing around everywhere and trying to collect all the rings. The actual slot machines also make this a lot better. The gimmicks are fun, and there are almost no enemies in the whole thing. Casino Night is like Spring Yard, but it's a lot better. And again, the soundtrack is awesome! And that concludes Casino Night Zone. Out of the two, I picked Chemical Plant. Chemical Plant isn't as complicated as Casino Night, but is still very fun. You go the fastest you have ever been, and you go through very challenging parts. The one I'm talking about is mainly the drowning section, where you have to climb up the blocks, and is very annoying. There are many fun gimmicks and enemies. And again, what person at Nintendo thought putting Sonic in a chemical plant of all places right after going on a grassland was a good idea? 'Cause it was. Wait, Nintendo? Oh, I meant Sega. And the soundtrack is also phenomenal. Chemical Plant is a very good zone, and I totally recommend you to play it. I mean, it's so good, Sonic Mania decided to recreate it. Now for number 1. I think Mr. Cave Zone is the best zone in the whole game. You can explore a lot, and there are many fun gimmicks. For example, finding the vines to pull them down was always fun. All the enemies were also very creative. My favorite is probably the fireflies, which I don't know who came up with fireflies being able to kill you. The tile set is amazing, and it looks very good. We haven't even gotten into the best part of Mystic Cave, and that is its music. Mystic Cave's soundtrack is probably the best in the whole game. Just listen. I cannot get enough of it. The song fits the zone so good. The only bad thing about it is not even its fault. The bad thing is you can no longer access Hidden Palace through it. But I mean, you can't even access Hidden Palace at all, so yeah. And that concludes my tier list. Now I'll hand it to you. In the comments, comment your tier list of all these zones, and I might see it. And for now, I'll see you next time.